Okay, hello. So you'd like to learn math or engineering or physics, maybe all three. I'd like to try to help you learn how to learn it. Okay, remember we're learning how to learn. Step one, learn the right things. This rectangle here that I've drawn, so kind of this box starting here, kind of going around. This rectangle here represents, let's say, everything that you need to know in a particular course. It could be engineering statics. It could be physics 1. It could be a math class. So let me just put, I don't know, let's just say this is some math 100. Okay? Everything that you need to know is in this box. Okay. Throughout the course or throughout the progress of the math class, the teacher is going to go through several examples. So they'll do maybe this dot right here represents an example problem, maybe problem A. You do that the first day of class. Then the second day of class you do problem B. And I'm putting these dots inside this box because these are things you need to know as part of Math 100. And later on in the class, you'll end up doing a variety of sample problems being shown how to do certain things. Okay? So these dots represent the things that you were shown how to do. Now it's time for a test. And you were supposed to learn Math 100. And for learning Math 100, you were supposed to learn everything in that box. So we now have two types of teachers. One type of teacher, and some students like this type of teacher, but be careful. One type of teacher will put on the test problem B, this problem, and that problem. So they'll put questions on the test that are pulled from the types of problems exactly that you covered in the class. Okay, that's one type of test. But are those questions really testing to see if somebody understands all of Math 100? I don't think so. So another type of teacher, which some students find very frustrating, is the teacher will come and put on the test a question here. The X's will represent test questions. And kind of the test is designed to probe all the material in the class. So the test questions are sort of put all throughout. Okay? And what they're trying to test is to see are you able to do everything in the Math 100 class? Okay? And of course, if a student only learned these little dots, they have no chance of actually being able to pass the test. And it can be a very frustrating experience. Okay, so what's to be done? You were supposed to learn not just problem A, but you should have learned kind of hopefully be able to do lots of problems like problem A. And when you studied problem B, you should have been able to do not just exactly problem B, but other problems that are similar to problem B. Now, if you learned problem B really well, a bigger circle around problem B. So what I'm trying to describe with these circles here is if you learned this one problem point at this dot, hopefully you've been able to learn not just that, but you're able to learn and handle situations that might be related to that dot. Okay? So if someone's learning problem B and they're able to extend that knowledge and apply it to situations that are not just problem B, now you've actually learned a significant amount of the course. So sometimes we call that generalizing. You've learned something specific, but you need to broaden that out until you've learned something bigger. A good student, someone who's good at learning math, engineering, and physics, a good student, every time they learn something, a good student is somebody who is able to learn big circles around those items. So a genius would be somebody who, if this one dot here were covered in class, and the person took that one idea and was able to learn all of that, that would be somebody who's doing really well. And of course, you can't, not everybody is able to do that, myself included. You can't, I couldn't learn just one thing and then suddenly have you realized thousands of years of mathematical development. But nonetheless, I do aspire, and you should too, to make these circles as big as possible. So the strategy of a good student is, for every problem covered in class, try to learn a lot of information, and so on. So this particular student would not get 100 on the test because they still were unable to handle these test questions, but they would do a whole lot better. The alternative is for a student to think, okay, I'm going to master Math 100 by doing lots and lots and lots and lots of examples, but never really thinking too much about any one problem in particular. So that student is going to have learned lots of examples. So again, it's motivated by a good idea. They're trying to learn the subject. They're just going about it the wrong way. So this student, even if they do lots and lots of problems, if each problem they learn only a small little bit, worse yet, maybe even memorizing that particular problem, so they've memorized how to do these teeny little parts of the class, and then the test comes, and boom, there's a test question right there. Not exactly related to one of the problems that they studied. And that can be very frustrating for somebody. Goodness, they've done so much work, and that work was useless. So the work that you should be spending on the class to avoid this kind of frustration and to actually learn the stuff is to learn fewer things, but learn them really well, to be able to generalize situations, broaden them out, learn a few things, and be able to apply them to lots of situations. That's what we want to try to do.